we don't get these children at this age turned on by science, then we're all in trouble, because the next generation are going to pay a consequence for what we've not done in the past. You know, Lynn's just said about predecessors, we're wrecking the earth. You know, he talks about Greta there, Greta Thunberg. She's turning children on to an understanding of what is going on in their world. And in school, we need to give our children the very best we can in terms of that aspiration and inspiration to become the scientists of the future. You know, we saw with the injections and all the jabs and things like that, how fast science, when they're given the tools, how fast they can turn an issue around, you know, in months rather than year upon year upon year. The world scientists came together and solved the problem. If they'd have had the same backing from our politicians at COP26, we'd be on the way.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're not. You know, and as Greta said again, blah, blah, blah. And these children need to be campaigning, they need to be turned on by science, and they need that aspiration to become scientists themselves. I never knew about global change. I never knew about climate change when I was their age. And we were probably in the midst of it, because I used to walk through smog coming to school and nobody bothered. My mum put a scarf across my face to stop you breathing in this thick, horrible smog from coal fires, from the factories belching out smoke. We're in an industrial town, so we all lived in a generation where we should have known better, but actually it was what we did. And it's only now that the science is starting to get to children, that they're starting to kick off about it and say, whoa, hang on, the world I'm going to grow up in isn't going to be the one that you did. It's going to be wrecked and ruined, so we need to do something about it. We need children to walk, and we need children to cycle to school to cut down vehicle emissions. You know, round in Greater Manchester now there's going to be, you know, car-free zones, etc., fines to go in. Now, because of COVID, we've not been able to get the children out onto the front doing what we usually do, which is making sure our parents are aware that idling engines put pollution into the atmosphere. And that's what today's about. It's about telling these children about what gases are in the air and actually giving them the wow and the bangs and the whizzes and things of chemistry to say, you know, it's not boring, science is exciting, come and be a scientist. You know, so our Clean Air campaign is just another leg of that in terms of making sure that the children know that they can campaign, they can get together. One little voice doesn't make a difference, but when they get together, they can shout loud. You need 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds turned on to science, and the more we can do like this, bringing science into primary schools across the country, the better, because this is where, you know, they get turned on. You know, I want to be a scientist. It's about time we got scientists in primary schools giving them the wow and turning them on to science.
I'm the Director of the Science and Engineering Education Research and Innovation Hub at the University of Manchester. I'm absolutely delighted to be here at Russell Scott Primary School this morning to launch what we're going to call the Great Science Share for Schools Clean Air Challenge. This involves 25 primary schools across Greater Manchester engaging their children in science inquiry, something we're absolutely passionate about. And then on the 14th of June next year, we'll be showcasing their work as part of the Great Science Share. Involving young children in science from an early age, for me, is absolutely vital, and I know there's lots of people working across the sector who honestly believe that as well. We've got to catch them young, we've got to inspire them. Children nowadays are much older really and more aware about the world around them than we probably ever were. So getting them now to really understand and to be sensitive to the world around them, understand what's happening. Climate change, we've heard at COP26 this year, is just going to be something that impacts on their life. But we need to give them the power to question what they can do about it and to take some responsibility for it going forward. It's absolutely vital to get young children hooked, and not just them, their families and their parents as well and their carers, because it's us working as a community which is really going to make the difference. We've all got to make that small change, but understanding why and how that's going to impact is essential. We can't go into this blindly. So starting out with people like Tim here today from the University of Bristol and Chem Labs, supporting children to start to understand the reality of science in the world around them is absolutely crucial.